the legend of the haunted National Highway 33. In the heart of India, amid the vast landscape of Jharkhand, there stretched a highway unlike any other. It was known as National Highway 33, but to those who knew its secrets, it bore a far more sinister reputation. This was a road where the lines between myth and reality blurred, where the living and the supernatural coexisted in eerie harmony. Legend had it that the highway was cursed, haunted by a vengeful spirit. The spirit was said to be that of a tall, ethereal woman dressed in a flowing white sari. She would patrol the stretch of road that connected the states of Bihar and Bengal, appearing to unsuspecting travelers in the dead of night. But this spectral encounter was no ordinary haunting. It was believed that this ghostly woman held the power of life and death in her spectral hands. Those who crossed her path without paying their respects at the roadside temples that dotted the highway would face a terrible fate. It was a moonless night when Vikram, a weary truck driver, found himself navigating the treacherous curves of National Highway 33. His cargo of goods was essential, and he had no choice but to brave the notorious road, despite his skepticism about the legends. He had heard the stories, but like many, he dismissed them as superstition. As Vikram's headlights cut through the thick, eerie mist that enveloped the highway, he couldn't shake an unsettling feeling. The atmosphere was charged with an otherworldly energy. It was said that the ghostly woman was most active on nights like this, when the boundary between the living and the spirit world grew thin. The journey was uneventful until Vikram reached a fork in the road with a temple nestled on either side. The legends flooded his mind, and he couldn't ignore the unease that gripped him. Swallowing his doubts, he pulled over at the nearest temple, a small, dimly lit structure adorned with garlands of marigolds. Vikram stepped out of his truck, a sense of foreboding hanging heavy in the air. He approached the shrine and lit a stick of incense, offering it in silent prayer. He had never been a religious man, but at that moment he felt compelled by an inexplicable force. As he completed his ritual, he heard a soft, melancholic melody on the wind, like the haunting notes of a sitar. Turning, he saw a figure in the distance, a woman in a flowing white sari. Her presence was ethereal, her eyes filled with both sorrow and a strange serenity. Vikram's heart raced, and he whispered a prayer under his breath, seeking protection from the unknown. The ghostly woman drew nearer, her form becoming more distinct with each step. In her hand, she held a single marigold flower. With a gentle gesture, she extended the flower towards Vikram. It was an offering, a sign that he had shown respect to the spirits of the highway. As he accepted the marigold, a profound calm washed over him. The ghostly woman, her mission fulfilled, slowly retreated into the mist. Vikram watched in awe as she vanished into the darkness, leaving behind an inexplicable feeling of gratitude and awe. Vikram continued his journey on National Highway 33, now a believer in the mystical tales that had once seemed absurd. He understood that there were forces beyond human comprehension, and that night he had glimpsed the thin veil that separated the living from the otherworldly. As the years passed, Vikram shared his story with fellow travelers, warning them of the importance of paying their respects at the roadside temples. National Highway 33 remained a place of mystery and danger, but for those who heeded the lessons of the ghostly woman, it became a road where myth and reality intertwined, a reminder of the power of belief and the unseen forces that shape our world. Years turned into decades, and Vikram's story became a cautionary tale passed down from one generation of travelers to the next. National Highway 33 retained its mystique, and roadside temples continued to be places of refuge for those who traversed this enigmatic road. One moonless night, many years after Vikram's encounter, a young couple named Arav and Mira found themselves on the same fabled highway. They were driving to a distant city to start a new life together, their car slicing through the thick mist that clung to the road. Arav, a skeptical man by nature, had heard the legends but dismissed them as folklore. As they neared the fork in the road with the twin temples, Arav was tempted to continue without stopping. However, Mira, more attuned to the mystical and the unknown, insisted they pay their respects. She had always been fascinated by tales of the supernatural, and a part of her wanted to experience the highway's eerie aura for herself. Reluctantly, Arav pulled into the temple on the right side of the road. The atmosphere was palpable with an otherworldly presence, and the couple approached the shrine. Mira lit a stick of incense, while Arav watched with a hint of skepticism. As they stood in silent prayer, a haunting melody, like the notes of a sitar, began to play on the breeze. Both Arav and Mira turned, and there, in the distance, they saw her, a woman draped in a white sari, her presence both ethereal and graceful. Arav's skepticism wavered as he gazed upon this otherworldly apparition. The ghostly woman approached them, her eyes filled with a profound sadness and wisdom. In her hand, she held a single marigold, offering it to the couple as a symbol of protection. Arav accepted the flower, feeling a sense of reverence and gratitude wash over him. He realized that there were mysteries in this world that could not be explained by logic alone. Mira, on the other hand, felt an indescribable connection with the supernatural, as if the ghostly woman had touched the depths of her soul. As the ghostly woman retreated into the mist, Arav and Mira continued their journey. Their bond had deepened not only through their love for each other, but through their shared encounter with the unexplainable. They carried the memory of that night with them, forever changed by the mystical forces of National Highway 33.
Hey there! We hope you're enjoying our content so far. If you do, please consider giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for being a part of our community.